But what I wanted to ask you about, Mark, was the grumpy old person syndrome, and I also think it's a neuroscience thing. It's like you get grumpy because you've had so many repetitions of certain things, whether it's, things that happen while you're driving or waiting in line, or I mean, it's just like there's so many different things, and you reach a point in life where it just sort of you're saturated, like you can't, you're done. And so, what's the prescription for that? Like,
Yeah,
how do you approach that? Because I don't want grumpiness to be the dominant theme,
yeah.
you know?
I don't know. I don't know if I see it the way you described it. That by nature the repetitive things you do eventually saturate you, and you're kind of done with them. Having been a meditator for 40 some years, 42 years, I have probably observed I don't know how many breaths. And it's an incredibly repetitious thing, right? And I haven't gotten saturated yet. Certainly when I started out, I got bored with breathing, you know? It was easy to do. I was more fascinated with my thoughts. It was hard. The body ached in a different way than it does now. Ached from the tension of all the unresolved stuff inside me. Anyway, the repetitiousness of itself didn't make it stop being enjoyable. If anything, some things actually deepened over time. And it could be I'm describing an activity that one can do resting, and maybe that just is better for old people. you know, Watching the breath than shoveling the driveway. Um, but anyway, I'm not sure that's true. I think it's more something in the mind that stops showing up for the activity, that stops investing itself in the daily activities of life. And that's a bit what I was encouraging you in my talk to do, is reinvest yourself in the ordinary. Um, I don't know what all is involved with getting grumpy, um, or which is really just the increase of the mind state of aversion.
Mm.
And the danger of that increasing when the body doesn't feel as good, when things don't come as easily, when one gets tired more easily and recovers more slowly, all of which seems to be a part of aging, you know. And I know that when I'm tired, aversion comes so much more easily. You know, as soon as I'm tired, that grumpiness follows. When I'm not tired, then I'm less likely to be grumpy. Anyway, as I grow older, I will continue to observe this in myself. But, I mean, the mind is where we live seven days a week, 24 hours a day. And part of what I love about the Dharma is it points out that that's true. You live in the mind 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And if you don't keep it clean, it's going to start smelling. It's going to be like a crummy place to live after a while. And how do you clean the mind? What is the way that you clean the mind? Well, one of the ways is that you keep watch. You notice aversion, for example, arising. You notice that aversion is suffering. If you just let yourself go into aversive states, what are you doing other than creating more suffering for yourself? You're certainly not going to change the world the way it is. You're not going to stop snowstorms or shoveling. You could buy a condo. Okay, there are some options, but there will be other things that will tire you and so forth. So the general point of view that the Dharma offers is be aware of this tendency of the mind toward aversion, and in noticing it, can you actually turn towards a more wholesome state? In doing so, you let go of suffering and you abide in something that's satisfying and enjoyable instead. It's kind of like the Mind 101. And so I'm just aware that aging presents a new kind of challenge to that, really. Every age has its own kind of challenge. Aging, though, has the challenge of energy and comfort in the body as possible kind of contributors to this aversive state. And this aversive state being something which can make life unhappy. How's that? Take a shot at it.
Darn good. Darn
Yeah.
good.